Thanks for logging on to Wayne.com. Reggie Hayes of the New Sentinel joining me this week to talk prep football, and we crowned sectional champions last Friday night. We are on to regionals, only 4 games involving teams in our area, and normally we start out with the biggest class, but I want to start out with 4A because you were at the Norwell-New Haven game last week.
Right.
I was at the Dwenger-East Noble game at Bishop Darcy Stadium. The winners of those 2 games will meet at Zollner at 7 o'clock, so let's bat this one back and forth. What do you see as the biggest keys heading into this week? Because New Haven obviously put up 37 against a Norwell team that was playing pretty good football.
Not only did they put up 37, but they shut down the Knights' offense, which had been averaging 39 points a game over their 6-game winning streak. I mean, they were doing some really nice things offensively, and New Haven just took it away. They had great defensive secondary play. They brought some pressure on Pearson Harnish at quarterback and just did an excellent job defensively. Then you've got Jordan Hogue and Arias Vasquez, who are just their usual selves, and those two, that 1-2 punch and the very underrated Vance Shearer at quarterback gives them quite a bit of things for Dwenger to worry about for sure.
If you're Bishop Dwenger, they go into games oftentimes, whether it was Tyler Eifert, John Goodman, Ramon Wright, with the best athlete on the field. With all due respect to Mike Fiacable, Ryan Watercutter, Tyler Chipman, Ryan Sonata, all those guys, Jordan Hogue looks like the best athlete on the field this coming Friday night. How do they contain him?
Well, you first of all, don't kick to him.
That's a good idea.
If I'm going to make one suggestion to Chris Schwarzkopf that it will help him, which he already knows, is don't kick to Jordan Hogue. I mean, that was a key play in the game against Norwell. There was like 40 seconds left in the first half. They punted. It went to Hogue. He picked it up and returned it for a punt return touchdown and a 2-touchdown lead, and really changed the whole tenor of the game right there. And he can do that. That's what he does. Obviously, in the passing game, you can't let him get deep behind your secondary. There's another avenue where he can. And the thing that I like about Hogue is that when he gets a ball, he's able to stop on a dime, make this move this way, make this move that way, and the defender's going, wait, which way did he go? And it's just quick guy.
And we talk a lot about the New Haven offense, or have at least during the regular season. But defensively, they've only given up 21 points in the playoffs, so 7 points a game. They pitched a shutout in week 2 of the postseason, only gave up 7 to Norwell, a team, although Pearson Harnish did get knocked out of that game a little bit in the second quarter, which
for sure
derailed their offense a little bit. They're only giving up 7 points a game, and Dwenger, we know, Fiacable, the running back combination, Watercutter across the middle, this is a team that can score points.
They can, and I think that when you look at what Dwenger was able to do against East Noble, another NHC school that New Haven played. Obviously, East Noble won that game against New Haven. That was probably New Haven's worst game of the year. Well, not probably. It was their worst game. So you've got a Dwenger team that's very good offensively. I think they also have an excellent, trench warfare type guy, guys in the offensive and defensive lines that really make a lot of their team go.
Well, here's what I saw that I know New Haven can't afford this. Nobody can afford it against anybody, but especially a team like Dwenger. In the first quarter, East Noble put the ball on the turf with 3 fumbles. They only lost one of those, and then also fumbled a kickoff. Luckily, it went out of the end zone for a touchback, but if he'd have fumbled it at the 1, they'd have got it at the 1. I mean, you can't afford to shoot yourself in the foot and make it a 16-zip Dwenger lead after the first quarter.
No, and I think that's absolutely right. And then, of course, that's the old coach's motto: who commits the fewest turnovers has the best chance to win. You can't do that. Now, one thing that New Haven did against Norwell, and it didn't hurt them, was they had some penalties that would be costly in different situations, after the whistle penalties and things like that they can't afford against Dwenger.
How do you clear stuff up like that if you're the New Haven coaching staff, Jim Rowland and the guys? Because they know that. They know they're playing a disciplined team in Bishop Dwenger.
Right.
They, year in and year out, Chris Schwarzkopf and the rest of that coaching staff, they drill it in their brain. Do not beat yourself. Penalties, turnovers, that kind of stuff.
I think you run those plays that against Norwell where they had the penalties, you run them in the film room over and over and over and over and say, this cannot happen. I mean, you shouldn't have those type of plays probably at this point in the season when you've played so many games, but emotions and high school kids, you know how that goes. When you get those two things together and the intensity of a game, mistakes will be made. You can't afford that against Dwenger, and neither can Dwenger afford to have penalties or, as you said, turnovers against New Haven because they'll capitalize quickly.
I think most people are anticipating this to be a really close game. What do you see as the final score? I'll take Dwenger by a touchdown.
Okay, because I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I'm going to go with New Haven.
I thought you might in your NHC love.
In NHC love. The thing about, I look at this, I think relatively equal teams, different teams in a lot of ways. I think that you look at where's the most dynamic playmaker, it's Jordan Hogue. And when you add Vasquez to Jordan Hogue, you've got a 1-2 punch that I really like.
All right. Yeah, they can do it in the air and on the ground. A very difficult combination to stop if you're the Bishop Dwenger Saints.